She called me up and told me the things that Brad had done to her physically.
Brad Simpson buys 2 bags of Quikrete cement, a construction bucket with a lid, heavy-duty trash bags, a 30-ounce bottle of Clorox disinfectant, and insect repellent.
This helps us come to terms with the reality that Suzanne is no longer with us.
This morning, the spotlight is on the case against defendant Brad Simpson. This guy is suspected of murdering his wife, Texas realtor Suzanne Simpson. Now, his attorney is trying to get his murder indictment thrown out. Let me tell you why. So Simpson, there he is in court Tuesday afternoon in San Antonio, Texas, accused of murdering Suzanne, even though her body has never been found. Well, she disappeared back in October last year after she was seen fighting with her husband. The indictment says that the cause and manner of death is unknown to the grand jury. Okay, well, they don't have her body, right? So there's no medical examiner to examine her body. Well, the defense is making the argument to the judge at this juncture that they can't plan their defense to something unknown.
When a statute contains an undefined term, indeterminate or variable meaning, the state has to tell me what it means in the indictment to put me on notice. Zuniga is one of the leading cases that the state cites, and that their own case says they got to tell me what it means if there's no definition, and there is no definition.
The defense also argues the indictment is too vague when it comes to how the state accuses Simpson of causing his wife's death. Well, the judge has given the state 1 week to respond to this. Both sides are going to be back in court on April 29th. Okay, so essentially boiled down, the defense is saying, well, the case should be tossed out because you don't have a body. Well, who caused that body to disappear? Let's talk about this. I'm going to bring back in our legal expert, Casey Early, and our psychology expert. She specializes in family and relationship issues. She's also an author, Dr. Sue Kornblut. Let's tackle the legal aspect first, please. Casey, because this really bothered me. I thought either this defense attorney is green and this is his or her first case, or they're just trying to make the argument to see if the judge will bite and see if maybe the judge will toss this. Your thoughts, please.
It's the latter, Julie. I think what's happening is this attorney is not leaving any room for ineffective assistance of counsel, because you know that prosecutors can try a murder case without a body. So that's first and foremost. And you also know that even if the judge, let's say, quashes this indictment, it just gives the prosecution more time to put the details in there. But this is going forward, definitely. There's overwhelming evidence that you have this mother of 4, wife of 22 years, a neighbor witnesses this assault that occurred right outside the home. And then lo and behold, shortly thereafter, he's at the Home Depot buying all of these murder things. You have the Clorox, you have the tarp, and there's DNA on a chainsaw that usually cuts through metal. There's so much evidence that I'm pretty sure that the jury can show that a crime was committed. He committed this crime, even with the circumstantial evidence, because you have the motive.
Exactly, Casey. That's exactly how you do it. You present all the evidence, powerful circumstantial evidence, and then you can ask the jury to draw the inferences as to how someone murders their spouse. I have a clip from the prosecutor. Here's a little bit of the state's response. Let's take a listen.
The case law is clear that the state does not have to prove how Mr. Simpson murdered Suzanne Simpson. What we do have to prove is that he intended to cause either her death or serious bodily injury, and that he did in fact cause her death. The state's indictment tracks the statutory language for each offense and gives adequate notice of each offense charge. We've alleged intent and we've alleged result. We don't have the benefit of a body at this point for a medical examiner to look at and give us a precise cause of death, but that does not prohibit prosecution of the case.
And apparently the judge is taking all the arguments under advisement. I don't know why the judge didn't roll right then and there that the case is moving forward, but here we are. The poor children, let's turn to that aspect of this. 4 kids this couple has together. Dr. Sue, I can't even begin to imagine. Help us imagine what this might be like for these children with their mother missing and dad locked up.
Good morning, Julie. Yes, I mean, this screams to me domestic violence. Okay, and so there was a neighbor that saw an interaction that happened between him and her. And so that leads me to believe that this has happened over and over in the home. And when children are exposed to this, many things can happen, even if they're young. One of the children is as young as 5. So it affects her nervous system. And with the older kids, he has contact with his son. Now, people may be saying, well, why is that? Well, because no kid wants to believe that their father could possibly kill their mother. So he's in a loyalty conflict, as far as I see, between his father and his mother. Years later, though, because of what they may have witnessed, these children may suffer from depression, anxiety, or have violent tendencies based on what has happened here.
Dr. Sue, preach. And I got to tell you what, we know for a fact that one of the Simpson children agrees with you. One of the oldest children posted to Instagram a while back saying, quote, "Shame on my community for not speaking about domestic violence within Alamo Heights. Women are marginalized by society and misogyny every day and are told to keep their mouths shut. Those who choose to remain silent are choosing to blind themselves from domestic violence in our homes. My mother tried to leave my father and lost her life." It gives me chills. Dr. Sue, we know in domestic violence cases, you know this, Casey, you know this, the most dangerous time for a victim is when they try to leave their batterer. Knowing what you know, Dr. Sue, about the facts, about everything, help us kind of think about where Suzanne Simpson's mind might have been. What might have she been feeling, Dr. Sue, at the time that this all came to a boil?
I mean, where do we begin? Panic, fear, afraid that if she does leave, that he will track her down, leaving her children. What do I do in that circumstance? There's no control when you are in a domestic violence relationship. You are being controlled by somebody, and all that does is cause complete and utter fear. You know, many people say, well, why doesn't the woman just get up and leave? Well, when you're filled with so much fear, or in many cases, as I see, the man is saying to the woman, if you leave, I will kill you. And maybe, Julie, that's exactly what happened here.
Right, Dr. Sue. You know, and I always say, reach out to a domestic violence resource center. They have a brilliant way to get a safety plan for you. I promise they do, because sometimes, as you said, you know, it can be more lethal leaving without the proper plan. That's just a fact. Have a plan in place. Speaking of the children in all of this and what they felt, you know, psychologically, they're also being impacted in another way in the court system through this custody battle going on. Dr. Sue, you know a lot about this. You do a lot of counseling as it relates to this. Apparently, the kids are with relatives right now. We know that Brad Simpson is going to be back in July for a custody hearing, trying to get custody of those kids. Talk to us about how you think the court will view their circumstances at this point and what the court may do to ensure they'll stay safe.
I think the court is probably going to rule against him because they want to keep the kids safe. There's a lot of evidence here, as we said, of domestic violence. So I'm hoping that they will keep them safe and place them with family. So please, family, step forward, because it is so difficult if they are placed outside of family. They don't need any more stress at this time.
Right. You're so right. Let's hope they stay with relatives. We've got the domestic violence hotline there on the screen, 1-800-799-SAFE. It's so easy to remember, SAFE. Dr. Sue, Casey Early, thank you both so much for the insight and the great analysis here. I know we need to let you both go. We'll look forward to you coming back soon.